We touched on this a moment ago. Missouri's General Assembly heads back to Jeff City this month to talk taxes, though the start date has been pushed. Governor wants lawmakers to pass his tax plan after he vetoed theirs. He's calling for a cut in the top individual income tax rate from 5.3% to 4.8%. Governor also wants to boost the standard deductions for individuals and married couples and eliminate the bottom tax bracket, anything under $1,000 a year.
That's permanent. Missourians will see $700 million returned to them, not one time, but every year.
The governor also wants lawmakers to extend an agricultural tax credit for at least 6 years. So, will it get done? That's the question. Let's discuss with our roundtable of journalists. Please welcome back KMBC 9 political reporter Michael Mahoney and Jason Hancock, editor-in-chief of the Missouri Independent, joining us now from Jeff City. Welcome to you both. We know the income tax cuts are the talk of the town right now, especially since the governor had vetoed a plan to give rebates to Missourians. Jason, where should we set our expectations?
Well, the legislative leaders met this week to try to come up with some sort of blueprint for the special session. They said that the talks were cordial, they were productive, but at the end of them, they delayed it by a week. They said there's still some things they need to work out. You know, the governor has his plan, but the legislature is not just going to sit back and let him dictate everything. So there's talks of changing in that top tax rate. Maybe they want to go further. Maybe they want to add a corporate tax cut. Maybe they want to add some other incentives. And then you have the Democrats who are still a little, they have a little bit of heartburn about permanently cutting taxes when we have this one-time surplus, especially when there's so many other needs that the state's underfunding. So, yeah, it's hard to say right now what we're going to do when we come back, and it doesn't help that the legislature hasn't been the most functional body the past couple of years.
For sure. And Mahoney, we talk about gridlock, right? Well, last month we had in Lee's Summit Senator Mike Serpoy call the Conservative Caucus, now disbanded Conservative Caucus in Jeff City, the Chaos Caucus.
Right.
How do you start to work together here?
This is pretty obvious right now that they do not have a deal in the legislature, and that's the reason they postponed this for a week. There is concern about how the Senate is going to handle this. There are lots of folks in the House that have misgivings about this. And then folks are focusing on the tax cut, but there's also this agricultural tax credit bill in there. And don't lose sight of that, because that is going to be a trading vehicle for whatever deal that they've got. But clearly they don't have a deal right now, and that's why they pushed it back.
Right. You know, Jason, we heard from Secretary Ashcroft a few minutes ago discussing a number of issues, including the voter ID law, the marijuana ballot question. What stood out to you?
You know, it was really interesting to hear him talk about the process of certifying the marijuana initiative petition, because there's a lawsuit that's been filed. There was a hearing last week, and it should go to trial this week. It's facing a really tight deadline that questions whether the process that the Secretary of State's office took to certify those signatures was legal and reasonable. So we all thought that enough signatures were collected and that this was going to be on the ballot and it was going to be something Missourians weighed in on in November. But that adds a little bit of uncertainty, and it calls into question, you know, some of the processes that took place to certify these signatures, because it was a sort of unique process that the office took this year to kind of overrule some of the disqualified signatures by the local election authorities.
Mahoney, what caught your eye?
Same thing. The marijuana discussion there, partly because what Jason's referring to there is when the supporters of the marijuana legalization submitted, they thought they were a little short, and they asked the Secretary of State's office to double check. And when they double checked, they brought it forward over the line. So it is on the ballot, and we'll see what happens in court.
All right, let's end with a Missouri take on a Kansas story. You know, sports betting is now in the middle of this so-called soft launch in the Sunflower State. Missouri couldn't get it done last session. Jason, is there a fallout here in Missouri?
You know, it's something that comes up a lot over the years, you know, just talking about the marijuana ballot measure, for example. You know, when I talk to people about that, they pointed to sports betting as the cautionary tale, right? That we can't get this done in Missouri, and Kansas did. Now all of these tax revenue is going to flow across the state line. They don't want to see that happen with marijuana. They want to legalize it here so that Kansas tax dollars can come over this way. I do think there's going to be some fallout, and I think if it's a very successful program in Kansas and we see a lot of revenue flowing into the state's coffers, you're going to find a lot of folks who have heartburn about it in Missouri maybe taking a seat. And, you know, especially on the Kansas City side where, you know, the state line is sort of nebulous. People go back and forth for work and play all the time. So I think it might add, if it's successful in Kansas, it might add some fuel to the push to get it across the finish line here in Missouri.
I have a feeling a lot of people are going to be going over the state line to place a bet. We'll leave it there this week. Jason Hancock, Michael Mahoney, thank you so much.